Imagine a war fought not with bullets, but with stories. Not with bombs, but with beliefs. This is the world of psychological operations, or psyops. A psyop is a deliberate attempt to change how people think and feel. It uses information to influence emotions, motives, and ultimately, actions. The goal is simple. It is to make a target audience, whether an enemy army or a civilian population, behave in a way that helps the sender. It is persuasion, but with the volume turned all the way up. It is not a new idea. Sun Tzu wrote about it over 2,000 years ago. He said, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." Psyops are the modern embodiment of that ancient wisdom. Think of the leaflets dropped from airplanes during World War II. They carried messages designed to lower enemy morale. They promised good treatment to soldiers who surrendered. They painted grim pictures of the war's futility. In the Cold War, radio stations broadcasted across the Iron Curtain. They weren't just sharing news. They were carefully crafting a narrative of freedom and prosperity. There is perhaps no emotional lever more powerful than the image of a child in danger. Our instinct to protect the young is one of the most profound and universal human drives. It is hardwired into our biology. When we hear a story about children being harmed, our critical faculties often shut down. A wave of pure, unadulterated moral outrage takes over. We don't ask for evidence. We don't question the source. We feel an immediate, burning need to act, to punish the perpetrators, to protect the innocent. This is not a weakness. It is a fundamental part of our humanity. And it is precisely this instinct that makes such stories the ultimate weapon in a psyop. History is filled with examples of this tactic. One of the most famous is the Nayirah testimony before the 1990 Gulf War. A young Kuwaiti girl, known only as Nayirah, gave tearful testimony to the U.S. Congress. She claimed she had witnessed Iraqi soldiers taking babies out of incubators in a Kuwaiti hospital and leaving them to die on the cold floor. The story was horrifying. It was visceral. It was broadcast across the world and cited by politicians as a key reason to go to war. It painted the enemy not just as a geopolitical foe, but as a monstrous, inhuman evil that had to be stopped at any cost. The story of the incubator babies was incredibly effective. It galvanized public support for military intervention. It helped frame a complex geopolitical conflict as a simple battle between good and evil. The problem? The story was false. The girl, Nayirah, was later revealed to be the daughter of the Kuwaiti ambassador to the United States. Her testimony was part of a coordinated public relations campaign, a psyop run by a PR firm hired by the Kuwaiti government. The story worked not because it was true, but because it was emotionally resonant. It pushed a button that we are all programmed to respond to. The consequences of these child-centered atrocity stories are immense. They can lead nations into war. They can incite violence against targeted groups. They create a moral certainty that is nearly impossible to reverse with facts or reason. Once we have accepted a story that makes us feel such righteous anger, we become deeply invested in it. To question the story feels like betraying the victims. We build our beliefs around that emotional core, and any information that contradicts it is rejected as enemy propaganda. The story becomes a part of our identity, a truth we must defend. Now, let's look at a completely different kind of story. It is not about moral outrage. It is about mystery, confusion, fear of the unknown. Narratives about unidentified flying objects, unidentified anomalous phenomena, are a perfect tool for a different kind of psyop. Instead of creating moral certainty, they create strategic confusion. They exploit our fascination with the unknown. They exploit our deep-seated anxiety about forces beyond our control. A story about a strange light in the sky doesn't make you want to fight a specific enemy. It makes you question everything. Who is in control? What is our government hiding? Why do these stories about harmed babies and strange lights in the sky work so well? It is not because people are foolish. It is because these narratives exploit fundamental features of how our brains are wired. They are less like attacks on our logic and more like cheat codes for our psychology. There are at least 4 vulnerabilities that psyops target. First, our reliance on emotion over reason. When a story triggers a strong feeling like anger or fear, our emotional brain takes the driver's seat. Our rational brain gets shoved into the back. We react first and think later, if at all. Second, information overload. We are drowning in data, news, opinions, alerts. It's impossible to evaluate everything, so we take shortcuts. We latch onto stories that are simple, emotionally compelling, and fit with what we already believe. A complex geopolitical conflict is hard to understand. A story about evil men hurting babies is easy. A detailed report on aeronautical engineering is boring. A story about a possible alien spaceship is fascinating. Psyops give simple answers in a complicated world. Third, authority confusion. Who is an authority now? Government spokesperson, scientist with a PhD, popular YouTuber with millions of followers, anonymous account posting a leaked document. Psyops create counterfeit authorities or discredit real ones. When we don't know who to trust, we trust our gut, which is easily manipulated. This is the crisis of credibility. Finally, we are tribal creatures. We need to belong. Political party, national identity, online community. Psyops exploit that need. They frame stories to reinforce group identity. We are the good people who care about the children. They are the monsters. We are the enlightened ones who see the truth about UFOs. They are the sheeple being fooled by the government. Believing becomes a badge of loyalty. To question it is to risk being cast out. The digital world has put these psychological hacks on steroids. Social media platforms are designed to promote engagement. And what is most engaging? Content that sparks strong emotions, outrage and mystery, nuance and facts. Algorithms learn what pushes our buttons. They then feed us more of it, creating powerful feedback loops. We see a story, we react. The platform amplifies it to more people like us. Echo chambers form. A false narrative can become an unshakable truth for millions in a matter of hours. The speed and scale are unprecedented.